Welcome back, friends, to Occultists Anonymous, sponsored by Roll20, the Onyx Path, and viewers like you. Thank you very much to everybody who is here, especially those who are live and for some reason decided this is what they're going to hang out for New Year's Eve. Hey, we appreciate you. It's what we're doing for New Year's Eve. You know, like, I ain't judging you for being here. I appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube, hey, how's your New Year's Eve? Tell us in the comments down below. So, like, comment, and subscribe. And as for our favorite people in the world, our patrons who support us monetarily, thank you very much to Adele, Al, Alexander, Angfalith, Bernie, Buck, Chris, Clara, Daniel, Doc the Undead, Doggo DeLune, Eat the Rich, Emil, Funzusuru Ali, George, it's always midnight for an acanthus, Jack, Jenny, John, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, John, Josh, Julian, Camo has a normal username, Cat Feathers, Crazy Man 1772, Michael, Milo V3, Ms. Grumpy, Moku, Mozart D Minor, Noba, Other Michael, Perry, Puppeteer, Riafio, Ryan, Shane, Sheksara, Terran, Thomas, Toast, Usuf Sama, Vortex, and Zoltan. Also a special shout out to Zoltan, who got spooked by mid-credits little advertisement for Anima and trying to sleep. Had an out-of-body experience or something. Sorry, bud. Oh, man. So where were we? Ah, yes. The Pit of Despair. Wherein a one Salazar has been abducted from his camp via legacy attainment co-location portals. Yanked. Well, actually, you didn't just yank. There was a bit of a fist fight. Then yanked, then thrown into a pit unconscious, and
he got wrapped in chains.
Did get wrapped in chains.
He got subdued.
And is now dealing with Siren Isabel has kind of allured the man, and who's now basically got one single and clear health box or something like that.
That's right.
And she's kind of going Spanish Inquisition on him. To recap, before that, the group also found out that these folks have been, or at least Salazar has been, sacrificing people by cutting out their hearts, which was a bit of a revelation. Yeah. And we pick up literally in the pit of despair. The sun has set. The storm is still out there raging, though it's not like terrible, but there's definitely some water at the bottom of the pit. Isabel put some mud on her face. Not a big disgrace. And yeah, that's where we pick up.
I think let's see. We can see. Yes, I just rolled a lot of good dice here. Which I think was persuasion-y.
Yeah, you broke through his doors.
Yeah, for knocking down some doors. And giving information about what they're doing. Because I can't exactly remember where we left off. I had to jump us back into things. Salazar kind of looks and, like I said before, there's this allure coming off of her, and he's more curious than afraid. That this is very much steer your ships into the rocks level of like, hang on, what's going on over here. Now he may shake out of it eventually, but for right now, kind of leans in, and because she was threatening him about, I could sacrifice you. He says, we only sacrifice those who the gods would delight in their deaths. No people of this land, only foreign invaders or lapdogs of those invaders, those who've turned against their culture and their upbringing, I guess.
So you seek to purify this land?
He grins. He goes, no, things have gone too far for that. Well, actually, I think Salazar says, I'm looking out for myself and those who are loyal to me.
And this is one of the virtues of your god? Their gods?
I don't know that it's necessarily one of their virtues, but my gods need sacrifice. They need blood. And I'm not about to sacrifice those who are loyal to me when there are so many others. And and a note, you both are communicating in Spanish, and is there, because I know there's obviously a difference between Mexican Spanish and Spanish, how much of that accent and carryover do you think Isabel has?
I think she speaks more like a Mexican person.
Gotcha. That's kind of why, because she...
But can turn up the vocabulary in the class and the certain linguistic stylings.
Yeah.
Certainly from having been raised in that.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I figured.
But her husband's family was
exactly
Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so he's
or at least had mixed together further back generations.
Right. Yeah, so he wouldn't necessarily pick up that she is Spanish. Right. Okay.
Right. Is that all you have to say? You sacrifice them. The gods get what they want, and you get
their blessings.
Protection.
Protection, sure, you can call it that.
And you use this for what? Roaming about the lands, pillaging? Taking things you wish?
Yes, but it's more than that. I'm no common brigand, and you can see he's puffing himself up a little bit. More I am taking what doesn't belong to people and keeping it for myself. The wastes and vanities of the church, the Catholics, the gold that they display, they have no need for that. Why, it could be, for all their questions and care for the poor, and then they have gold hanging up in their grand cathedrals and their churches. They don't need that. Their priests can, be sacrificed as well. I'm not sure, but I imagine my gods, care for their deads a bit more.
They are the blessings and the due deference that we show to the Almighty. We could never repay what we owe him for our salvation. The best we can do is to decorate with due reverence his homes on this world.
He nods and gives a shrug and says, I mean, if you believe that.
My beliefs aren't the one that question here. So, I suggest that you begin detailing how your... She almost spits the word rituals.
Kind of leans back into the correct me if I'm wrong, Craig, it was sheer pit, wasn't it? Yeah. Kind of leans back into it, settles into the wall, gives a shrug and says, I do not plan to empower you with ancient ritual if you are one of those self-same lapdogs.
Is it your wish? Wait. We know his name? Yes.
Salazar is the name that you heard yelled at as he was yoinked.
Is it your wish, Salazar, that my face and this hole in the ground be the last things that you see?
Is it my wish? No. But if I am in your power, and if your merciful God demands my death, well, I mean, I guess we aren't too different after all.
Not at all. It is not my power you are under. My God does not demand your death.
Baba Sarah leans over.
It is your opportunity to begin repayment of your sins.
I think we need a roll here because I can't.
Yeah,
fine. No, because I was debating how Salazar would play it, but yeah, he's trying to read your bluff, or at least what he imagines is your bluff.
Right.
Is that a bluff?
But yeah, more or less her point is this doesn't have to be the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it is entirely upon his actions which the future can rest. I'm just here to listen.
Right. Let's see here. Okay. Persuasion or expression, I think, from you.
Yeah.
Seems like an empathy roll.
Could be empathy.
I mean, in detecting what she's trying to convey.
Oh, that's true. It could be his empathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
He's
a little
trying
bit
to
better.
understand her intentions.
Or subterfuge.
In this case, empathy is more his thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back, Chris.
What do you mean, welcome back? That's never happened before.
Chris rolls 8 dice,
a
gets 6 successes.
6 successes.
And Salazar kind of shifts, and I have no sins to repent of.
Of course you do. We have all sinned. And more pointedly, you have murdered people.
If you want to bring me up on some crime of murder, take me in front of a magistrate and plead your case. But I'm sure while we're sitting here, my men are getting closer. You can't have gone far. They
How wrong you
will
are.
find you. He kind of looks up and he's like, is this not the same storm?
It is.
The same
But
day.
you said we can't have gone far.
How far could you have gone?
Wherever I want.
And he kind of leans back and says, well, okay. I guess I can spare some time after all. My men are getting closer. What do you want to know? And very, very clearly he's slipping into like stall tactics.
Yep. Damn, with an exceptional success, huh?
Oh, I guess that's true. Well, no, 2 and 4 is kind of the way I was looking at that. Or a total successes of 4, but that's fair. I actually do like that better because then I can move this along. Kind of leans back and says, well, with the appropriate robes of priesthood and a sanctified dagger, really how you actually do it doesn't all that matter, so long as they're dead, their hearts removed, and offered in burnt sacrifice. I believe eating the heart is also acceptable, but that's never been quite my taste.
Drew, has he named these gods that he's worshiping?
No.
And the blessings, as you've said?
Well, up until now, we've been rather successful. Looting, pillaging, as you said, for more than... What month is it now? No, more than a year. Either in the blind eye of the army, or where militia cannot find us. We continue, clearly under the auspices of our god. I will have to figure out who has blasphemed their names within the camp to have led you to me, but...
God works in mysterious ways. And your compatriot shot through the face and then getting back up.
You can see his, well, actually, Wits plus composure, real quick. Or Wits plus empathy, something to read his reaction.
Sure. 1 success.
Man, I'm so bad at this. There we go. Oh, yeah. You definitely catch, the eyes widening a little twitch to his mouth as he, is surprised, but, is trying to kind of cover it up. And, nods and says yes. Whoops. Nope. Wrong name generator. Doo-doo. Oh, yes. Vardo was irritating me and continued to irritate me, and so my anger may have slipped, but then I realized, well, he is a good man and it would be hard to promote one of the others to his duties, so I brought him back.
You brought him back.
Well, my gods, whichever way you want to look at it.
I see.
And just to remind the viewers at home, because I remember everything perfectly, he got back up immediately after getting shot, right?
Yep. Got hit, dropped to the ground, stood back up.
How about manipulation subterfuge to catch him that he just admitted that no one else is trained?
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna spend a willpower on it. 4 successes.
Yeah. And specifically pushing or pulling on that little bit.
Yeah, like leaning on that a lot, playing it up a little bit. Oh, so so without you, the gods receive no sacrifice in that camp. Is that what you're saying?
I'm trying to figure out how he would play this. Yeah, no, he kind of shrugs and says, admittedly, any of them who have watched me could pull it off, but I don't know if any of them are bold enough to attempt it. Actually, that's true. Eduardo may not be coming for me. And like, you actually have a moment where he like has this realization of, oh shit, they actually could be abandoning my ass.
At this point, Isabel gets a ping from telepathy, and Cloak asks her, can you please ask him if he is in touch with others of the same tradition?
And if these rituals are passed from one to another, learned, are you allied with others?
There are
You have
other shaman
fellow worshippers?
Yeah, there are other shaman priests who work the same, I think he says miracles, that I do. I mean, I don't know how many of them would count me as one of their, allies.
Do you have contact with them?
Oh, yeah. No.
Farewell. Enjoy your comfortable chair there for a few moments. I'll be back.
Yeah, a definite, kind of, I'm totally in control of this situation shrug, and I'll be here kind of thing. I'm in my head, I'm channeling the Kingpin, just a little bit on a smaller frame.
A lot more confident than I would be fucking having been snatched through a portal and thrown in a hole all tied up.
Wrapped in chains. Dropped in a crypt.
To give you an idea, he has 5 composure.
Oh yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. A little bit of gravity magic to help myself get out of this pit gracefully.
Okay.
Just rise.
Well, just sort of step up. Like, not quite climbing, right?
Sure.
Because we're talking about like a fucking, I'm imagining just a muddy, like,
I believe it was like a 10-foot straight-sided dirt pit.
Yeah. But in the like the wind and the rain, I'm imagining that just like,
oh, it's slippery and stuff like that.
A mess,
Yeah.
right?
Now, admittedly, and feel free to go however you wish, but that it's definitely short enough that you can do the whole like somebody reaching down and pulling up.
Sure.
But yeah, however you
figured
wish.
we do that.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
Gnosis plus forces plus a
Gnosis.
dia paradox.
Okay. Oh really?
Oh really? He is definitely a sleeper.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to have a merit dot for this.
No.
Interesting.
This is a open right.
Well, Isabel doesn't know anything about that, so that's fine.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
also,
that's
we don't have any-
100% why I'm bringing it up.
Also, we don't have any demonstration that what he's doing evokes magic,
Mhm.
even the fallen
Right,
kind.
That's true.
We just know that he's conducting these rites and he believes what's going to happen.
So, no
Alright.
problem. And yeah, just I imagine it's especially kind of leaning into the Thyrsis vibe of just a very predator pounce up and just pulls and just you could hear
Just more or less a gravity augmented jump, and then just sort of scramble that last couple steps, but very graceful.
right. And in my head, I'm feeling the very movie special effects super leap kind of thing, where that's not quite normal. But you definitely hear like a shift of the chains and his head thump against the dirt as he goes, kind of leans back. I don't know, anybody might be observing from above. Would definitely be able to see that.
Bubba is definitely looming over the pit.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the
They're
sight
great.
from?
He's been waiting for this.
And like motions for everyone to step away a little bit.
Mm-hmm. We'll do so.
So, specific tools needed, knowledge needed. Seems he's the only one that has them.
I will interject for Ash's benefit because she's dealing with a very mad Layla. The knife and robe is not on him, and we're packed away in one of the chests back there. So he doesn't have it, so it is still in the camp. And as he mentioned, if somebody else is paying attention and her little flashback, there are people there. It wasn't like the full camp joining in, but there are definitely some people who you might expect, including Vardo, closer.
He would know the right words to say.
Okay.
Sound like brigands with delusions of grandeur.
Next time.
For my part, I've heard enough.
Officer's going to
Heard
start
enough of
shoveling
what?
dirt in.
You wish to pass judgment?
I wouldn't say that I wish to pass judgment, but I'm certainly prepared to.
Do you think you can get him to... I'm looking at Cloak. Do you think you can get him to stop murdering people?
Amusingly, these are the same acts of hubris rolls.
Yes. But I refuse to do so. Through the means I think you're suggesting.
I mean through any means. What is your alternative to killing him?
I think there are numerous alternatives. The first I consider is releasing him. And asking him to take an oath that he would not attempt to harm anyone in the town.
He has no home.
I'm not okay with letting him loose to go harm other people either.
He is not the only murderer on this continent.
But he is one you have right in front of you that you could stop, who will go on to murder other people.
It is not my place to stop murderers. It is my place to protect the people I care about. Hence me suggesting that he swear an
That's
oath.
kind of my job.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sheriff Isabel.
Not that we've had a murder in town, but well, I guess.
I mean,
We did have
Yeah.
one.
You did.
And everybody who has been to the
Before
grave.
my time,
Yeah.
though.
yeah, before it was your job.
I mean, the point is, I do not think that it would be wise for us to, in the course of killing him, anoint ourselves judge and jury over this entire expansive land.
What court do you think has sufficient jurisdiction?
the Diamond Order. Make it their responsibility to deal with the moral consequences of executing this person if they deem it necessary.
They're not the police.
Indeed, and neither are
And
we.
he's not a mage.
Should we be any different? Why should we consider ourselves legitimate arbiters over his life and death because we consider some of the things he's done abhorrent?
I mean, do you want to take him into town and have him arrested?
No, I think he should be removed from the pit and left to his own devices.
I am not okay with that.
Why not?
Because his own devices involve going around and murdering people who he thinks are unworthy of living.
Okay, let me ask a hypothetical question. If I could present you with 100 others in a few moments who make the same choices on a regular basis, would you feel similarly?
100 other people who go around and murder people that they feel just shouldn't be allowed to live? Yes.
Yes. All right. Would you like to take a trip with me to Haiti?
Not particularly.
My point is, I understand your feelings and your revulsion at his acts and his inclinations, and I'm not suggesting I don't feel the same way. My point is that the choices we make and how we deal with that influence who we become. And if we decide to murder him because we dislike what he does, then that will make it that much easier to murder others whose acts we dislike. Just because he's in front of us is a matter of circumstance and convenience.
Letting him go is condemning other people to die.
It is not. He's condemning
it is.
people to die.
He is going to continue killing them, and you are going to have let that happen by letting him walk away.
Let me try and
That's not how it works.
reframe the question a little. He has pronounced himself arbiter over life and death. He decides who lives and who dies by whatever criteria he's employing. We're just applying the same thing to him that he's doing to others.
An eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind.
Okay. Killing one murderer after he has murdered dozens of people and will continue to murder dozens more people, you are saving more lives by taking one.
I would not sacrifice my wisdom, and I suggest that you avoid doing so as well.
I'm not just letting this man walk away. If you want to arrest him and have him go to court, let the men we have in town serve as witnesses for what they've been doing.
My point is that he has not done anything to the people in town. Where is the jurisdiction to try him for the murders he's committed out here?
And just to bring this a little out of character, just to make sure we're all... Ralph, you're saying that Legba's thing is the town is the end of your jurisdiction, and if just to carry this out of character, if this were to happen to one of the villagers, somebody in the town or something like that, then Legba would be comfortable doing something about it.
A punishment, yeah, not necessarily murdering him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely, because we've encountered him in the course of moving out here, Legba's asserting that if we choose to just dispatch people or punish them when we haven't otherwise made a commitment to stopping these kinds of things, we're making a snap judgment about the kinds of people we're going to make choices over, and there are consequences for that. And he's not saying what we should do, he's just raising the point that there is a consequence to us, how we sculpt ourselves when we make these choices.
And let's get a... Go ahead, Chris. Perfect.
Then perhaps you give him an opportunity to repent, to swear an oath, to what will you? But if jurisdiction and our wisdom are the issues, then, seeing as his crimes were committed in the wilds, then so should his punishments. I will hold back his instincts and bid him the best of luck at survival.
That just seems like a more cruel murder. Leave him to get eaten by coyotes and freeze to death.
It's warming up.
I think we have nothing more to do with him. I would release him from his chains. I refuse to participate in the murder of someone who has not harmed someone I've sworn to protect. It will be murder.
I do not wish him dead. I think there's more to be learned from him, especially if there are others like him. But I do not think he holds any value as a person.
Right now, killing him wouldn't stop the murders because the others could do it too.
Indeed.
If we could get their ritual items, it's possible they could get more or make more in the future.
That's right. If your concern is stopping those instruments from being used, I suggest we take those instruments. I would have him swear an oath. The town will have its protection from him if he knows of it, and he swears that he means it no harm. Because if he intends to harm someone there, or they mention that they are from that town, he won't be able to harm them.
What was the criteria he used to determine who you should kill?
Invaders.
Anyone who isn't from here.
Invaders and people
All of
who
us.
serve them.
Literally all of us.
I do not believe he means me.
You're not from here.
And then Cloak tilts his head in a kind of indulging way and says, I believe he means people of European descent.
So all of us. With the exception of you. This is what you're implying?
He shrugs and says, I believe his attitude is from the perspective of people of his cultural background. That
his attitude is justified. His actions are not.
I'm not
My
defending
people
it.
have done horrific things here. But
I am certain right now that there are people of my same skin tone who are being horribly abused as we speak. And so my point is, if our desire is to suddenly become a coven that prevents people from doing horrible things and committing atrocious murders, there are other places we can go.
The thing is, these are right here in front of us. And we have the power to deal with it now, here.
And that is the wise choice. To avoid doing something like that when it's compellingly easy to do so.
Well, my view is that choosing if there are people that you can help, choosing not to help them is not a virtue. You spoke about us forming our souls. I am perfectly content for my soul to be formed into one who would remove a murderer, a systematic murderer, from the face of the world. I am perfectly content with that. I understand that that may not be tasteful to all present, but that is a burden I am 100% willing to shoulder. We, all of us, have the power to do something about this. To my mind, not acting is as big a sin as what he's been doing.
And to clarify here, just to make sure, Ralph, because you're talking about using a magical oath.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or not necessarily, no.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it doesn't require, well, like, a sleeper doesn't have to do it. But it could be a magical oath, right? Legbar also doesn't want to use magical compulsion to make him do something, right? Just say, hey, look, do you want, in exchange for your life, do you want to swear not to harm anyone under our protection in Purgatory Bluff, right? That kind of thing.
I'm not okay with limiting him that way. Also, if they find anyone from town who has left town.
I think I've already spoken about my attitude on this. I will not aid in the murder of someone who hasn't harmed someone under my protection. And I think it is incredibly unwise to implicitly suggest that you can anticipate all the possible consequences of murdering this individual. Murder is wrong. We've been told it, and we've learned the consequences. If you would so willingly sacrifice the opportunity to do good for others by retaining your wisdom, then so be it. Make your choice here and kill someone who hasn't harmed someone you care about.
I don't care if he's only harming people I care about.
He has
That's
harmed.
the thing.
He has harmed someone I care about.
Legbutt turns to Gisela and says, I'm detecting some significant feelings about this particular issue.
It's that you're acting like, as long as they don't harm any of the people in your direct bubble, that whatever else they do is fine.
No, I didn't say it's fine. If you care about my feelings...
What you said.
No, it's not. That's not what I said. I will restate what I said as explicitly as I can. I think he's dirt. I think that killing him would be unwise, and therefore I refuse to do it or participate in killing him. I said that if he were harming or threatening someone I have sworn to protect, then therefore it would be my responsibility to stop him. But because I have not interacted with him in that capacity, it is not, and therefore I should not, and I refuse to. That's not the same as saying I think it's okay. The reason why I brought up people in other places is I've dealt with murderers. I have killed, and I understand that compulsion. And I'm suggesting now that it would be bad to so easily do it just because it is circumstantially convenient.
This is where we're going to bump into the OOC thing here and be like, y'all, what you guys want to do?
I mean, I'm 100% not just letting them go. Like, get the tools, break them, find some way to stop them from doing what they've been doing, fine. But, like, let them out of the pit, let them go, that's not an option for me.
Cloak is going to take his chains and not leave a person down in a pit because he tossed him into the pit.
Right.
So if people want to murder him, Cloak is going to get him out of the pit and take his chains off.
I'm thinking that Isabel will go back into the pit and present him with the opportunity to reform. And that he will surrender his accoutrement.
Craig wants what to happen?
Baba Sarah doesn't want him to walk away from this meeting. Either bury him there or shred his pattern. So that's what her objective is here.
Sure. Since that's the more dramatic thing, the thing I will put forward out of character, everybody is okay with that happening, because I know Ralph, this is a Legba thing and thinks nobody should sacrifice, but Ralph, like, not that Ralph approves of this, but yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not my character.
Right.
I don't have feelings about what happens to Salazar.
Yep.
Salazar is a fictional character.
Yep. No, it's just because I know how in character, out of character, this group can get blended. I'm not looking at any particular people. Yeah, I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. And notably because I think Baba Sarah going, cool, you're free. Bye. Devouring the slain.
Yeah, I'm fine with not killing them as long as we can also stop them from what they've been doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I'm also not going to be upset if Baba Sarah just fucking murders this guy.
Layla.
Okay. So it does sound like we were starting with...
I will say this, out of character, if Baba Sarah does murder this guy, Cloak is then going to start trying to talk to Baba Sarah and Theo about wisdom and about the possible decline that might happen.
Sure.
So there would probably be some interesting role play.
Right.
Not like punishment or anything, just like a, hey, I'm worried about you, buddy.
Yeah, you're going to play the Guardian.
I mean, they both were sounding like
I know.
just in different ways.
Right.
It's like, I'm worried about your wisdom. I'm worried about your wisdom too. I'm also willing to go kill this guy and sacrifice my own wisdom so you don't have to. Is this what this is the Guardian PTA meetings? Is this what you guys sound like?
Y'all been listening to them too much.
I'm just out of character. I will add, like, if the consensus of the group is to not do that to him, then Baba Sarah is not going to force the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer, out of character, I would prefer to not just murder him.
I mean, we absolutely need to get.
Yeah,
the
I don't think
things.
anybody's in disagreement with that.
Okay. All right.
And if we can get him to give them to us, that would be great. Because otherwise, there's a bunch of dudes, which we have already established we're not in a position to try to take on.
Oh, that'll be trivial. Getting in there and getting them out, that won't be a problem. Like, we can get the stuff all kinds of different ways. So.
Death Fox says this feels like 3 Guardians and an arrow. Okay, cool. So based on...
Right, so back in the pit of despair.
Very specifically, I believe Isabel hopping down to provide an ultimatum. Yep. And we pick up there.
It's time for the ultimatum.
And just one more thing, the driving thing for Baba Sarah is that this guy is showing zero remorse.
Correct.
There's no
Yeah, he feels
room for it
completely justified
at all.
in
Yes.
declaring himself the arbiter of who deserves to die.
Mhm.
So I'm cool with taking him out for that reason.
Yeah, but I don't want to keep harping on that point. But
Right.
So back to the pit of despair.
Pit of despair. We're gonna leave this out here. Just anytime, like, we gotta talk to this guy. All right, well, we'll take the whole Pit of Despair out back.
If we name it, it can be a place we can teleport to. So if we talk about it as a place we can reach to the astral realms.
Okay.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think you should, we should do it.
This is where we put the bodies.
And yeah, I think she more or less just kind of drops down into the pit.
Little Prince of Persia
Slams.
slide down the wall.
Yeah, or even just,
Sure.
right in the middle. And just like right over top of him. Did you miss me?
Yeah, I think without hesitation. Oh yes.
Would you like to leave this pit, Salazar?
Also a yes. Are you going to continue asking questions that you already know the answers to?
If I ask enough questions, eventually I will find an answer that will either surprise me or satisfy me. I'm sure you've guessed. Well, you are aware since they are the ones that grabbed you, but I have others above, outside of this pit. You know, it is not just you and I. Not all of us wish for this pit to be the last thing you see. We would like to give you the chance to continue on with your life, your new life.
You're
Absent your rituals, absent your I don't even know what to call it. Disregard for God's creations. And absent your cloak and dagger, as you phrased them. You would return to your men, pack up, and go find somewhere else to be a contributing member of humanity. We can roll the
Nope, that was literally just me thinking about how he would say this. So, you will spare my life, the lives of my men, which definitely sounds like an afterthought to him. And I merely turn over my knife, robe, and stop performing rituals.
Yes. You stop seeking the blessings of your gods if they rely upon human sacrifice.
We're not asking him to stop being a bandit and murderer.
You can see him mulling something over. He says, so you can take my knife, you can take my rope. That I understand. How exactly do you intend to enforce my reform, my lack of rituals, my disdain for God's creations?
Just really tempted to flare my nose.
I mean, put the fear of God in. Because otherwise it's just like, just promise you'll stop.
You would be swearing on your honor.
My honor as a
human being.
It doesn't matter.
And she just pulls out knife real quick and cuts off a lock of his hair. Of course you would not go unobserved.
Yeah, and I imagine this is like quick move, knife flying in front of his eyes, kind of like, hi, did I get your attention? And kind of leans back again, eyes kind of wide, and goes, huh. You can very clearly tell he has no idea what you can actually do with locket of hair, but at the same time, that is his hair. There are all sorts of stories.
As I said, my order has learned much over the years. And if you have seen perhaps imagined a flash of what could happen with me having your hair, then you are probably not too far off from the truth. So, Salazar, this is your opportunity for redemption. To be a good lad. Steer away from the rocks. And heed not the siren call of wanton destruction.
Okay. Yeah. I like living. Kind of shifts, jangles the chains.
Put the hair in her pocket and untie him.
Which, yeah, I don't imagine the chains are even... There's no padlock on them. It's just a matter of unwrapping some chains and tossing them up to Legba.
Yep.
And there's like not a small part of her that's like fucking daring him.
Oh yeah.
To try and take her
justify.
out in the bottom of the
Well, and because he's moving slow. He's all sorts of beat up,
Right.
you know. And, you know, it's, 15 minutes per, bashing wound. And, you guys have been in here.
He's not doing great.
Kind of slowly gets himself up, uses the walls to kind of steady himself, and then starts getting fastidious with his clothes, which at this point, nah, bro, you gotta wash that. And kind of looks up. Is there a ladder?
Doesn't appear to be.
You see him like just working himself up to it, and then finally kind of head back, kind of shouts, "Somebody please offer me a hand of assistance."
Legba walks up and leans down and reaches down a hand.
Grabs hold, and Legba has no problem pulling a guy out of a pit. Yeah.
It's a feat of strength.
Does little spider walk with his legs out a little bit too, and then drags himself up and kind of looks down at just like his clothing. Does a quick little head count, seeing all of you. Does definitely have a like double take kind of thing when he realizes that the majority of you are women, and none of particularly beefy, badass appearing, Amazonians. There's Legba, but it's just like,
Yeah, he has certain constructs in his mind about what he'd think what he thinks women are capable
oh yeah,
of.
Yeah. His
if
whole
they were
band
here to
is
assault him, what they'd look
all
like.
guys. Yeah. Well, are you all going to accompany me into my camp to get my cloak, my robe, and athame? Or do I walk there and walk back?
I'll go with him.
I'm not eager to go near your camp.
Why?
You did just admit that you were killing people like me and my family.
Yes, but I'm reformed now.
I'm sure.
Not going to do that anymore.
Legba says, let's avoid the walk. Let's just go there directly.
I'll whisper in his ear. As I said, it can be anywhere I want to.
So Legba's astral form is still sitting in the camp.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So he says, "Who's coming?"
It's like
Great.
Chris doing everything they can,
Sorry.
off camera there.
Hi.
All right. Legba pauses for a moment, concentrates, and then opens a portal into camp again.
I imagine that the portal opens at the exact same spot it had before. That is the Temenic middle of the camp.
Yep. That makes sense.
And there is...
And then Legba grabs one arm of Salazar and like kind of looks at Isabel, assuming that she's going to grab the other arm. Cool. Great.
Yeah. There is a swing of motion as the portal itself doesn't make any noise, but there's a disturbance of air. There's a little bit different sound, everything like that. And yeah, as it opens and you guys are arm in arm or more gripping hold of arm. And I imagine Gisela and Bob Sarah are off camera, so to speak, off to the sides.
Yeah.
There is definitely a selection of firearms pointed in your direction, and Salazar has a moment, his eyes kind of go wide and goes, "Hold!" Fuck. You all are still in camp, and like he does his best to, put on the show of still being in charge, and with arms walks forward, and walks in through the portal, which, just because of its width, you guys kind of have to go through one at a time anyways. And walks over to Eduardo, puts a hand on the revolver, and it's like, all right, everybody, guns down. Had a discussion. Eduardo, please go find me a different jacket. We are completed with that discussion. And he, compared to you guys, because I don't think Legba even took any damage. I don't think anybody took any damage from. Yeah, he's beat up to hell. There's some bruises showing, and some of his clothes are a little bit torn. We've come to an agreement, and we will be giving up our sacrifices. Which reminds me, and then points at just like a random person. Go through the prisoners out of the cage. They can soak like the rest of us. And definitely is making a big show of it, notably long enough that the portal closes again. And then once that's closed, looks at the two of you and just big wolf shark grin, says, all right, now to my things. And it's short walk over to that cart. A lot of men still watching. Eduardo comes over and brings him a new coat, and holds up the only umbrella you've seen out here, and kind of exchanges coats, which seemed a little bit ridiculous, but at least this one is clean, I guess. And he very much makes a show of making
Not
you all
muddy.
wait
Yeah.
as he kind of slips on the new coat and hands the old one and throw that on the fire. It's ruined, and pulls open the chest, and sitting on top, nasty looking, very clearly sacrificial dagger athame, and just hands that hilt first over to Isabel, and then pulls out the robe and like very carefully tucks, and like you can see he's got like would be like waxed wrapping paper kind of thing to keep packages dry. What am I thinking of? Well, whatever, you all know what I'm talking about. And hands that over as well and says, there, my ancient ritual items surrendered to, and kind of looks you over and looks Legba over, still not 100% sure, but he says, to the church, and kind of looks over at his pile of gold things that at this point kind of possibly realizing he has more as trophies than to sell, and says, will there be anything else?
I shall pray for your soul, Salazar.
I will pray that you never meet me again.
Should pray that you never met him again.
He's been the politest one of the bunch.
It is mostly through his wishes that you are alive.
Actually, clarification, has Legbus said anything to him?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh, well, he said something. Yes, but he was unconscious. So Legba tossed him in the pit forcefully and said,
yeah, stay down.
threatened him
Yeah.
there. He
That's
was
right.
like, yeah. And then-
okay.
But he didn't hear it.
Yeah. Well, if you ever wish to, see a land free of oppression, come join us.
Dude's like on the edge of death and still not fucking around. I'm like, he's shit, but it's cool.
I don't like you, but respect.
Yeah. Well, and he's not on the edge of
Respect.
death. Remember, he was full of bashing. Like because
Oh, sorry. I thought
No,
he
you
was
guys.
like,
You know,
beat
he's
the fuck
still
up.
beat up, but he's not like
Yeah,
dying.
you guys hadn't.
Oh, he's like getting better
Right,
all
every
the time.
15
Oh, he has a lot of lethal as well.
I don't think we got into lethal, did we?
Oh, you're right. No, it was
just
just
knocked him out
bashing.
with-
I wasn't
yeah.
doing. No,
Yeah.
I was hurting with the chain,
Mhm.
so it was lethal. He did take
Yeah.
lethal.
Okay.
I think he took 7 lethal, and then he got filled up with bashing
actually,
when he fell in the
because
pit.
somebody threw a bashing at him, which filled
Yeah.
him
That's right.
with bashing and actually overflowed over to 1 aggravated. Which I was like, at which point,
Yeah, that's
dude's
right.
down. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I gave him a misfortune. So
yeah,
he
he gave
took
him
That's right,
misfortune,
yes.
and then went.
Okay.
It's
So,
been a
like I
month
said,
since we've played, so
dude's
Yeah.
fucked up.
he's got
Yeah.
some okay. He's starting to recover, but yeah, he definitely has some. Yeah, that's right. If there's nothing else,
So, Legbo looks at Petrichor, and then telepathically asks, "Where shall we lead the prisoners?"
Did they have any prisoners still?
one of the guys was ordered to go. Oh, actually, yeah, that's true. He doesn't.
We liberated them all, yeah.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
all of them. That's right. They were all gone. Sorry.
Well, I didn't know if they had.
No, they've
I
had
was
no
just
time to
wondering
go
what
get
Drew
anyone.
said.
Yeah.
Prisoner.
Yep.
Yeah, I was responding to what Drew said when he said, "Go release the prisoners." So cool.
Yeah, I was waiting for them to discover that they had none.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
In a couple moments, you're going to find out that your prisoners were already.
No,
released.
they've known that. Yeah. Because
Okay. Then why did?
because I was
say
dumb.
that? Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so
Just
Scratch that
rub
off.
salt in that wound, Chris.
got it. I
good,
misunderstood
you're
what we were. Okay.
Yeah, we come back to basically at this point. Legba didn't say where should we take the prisoners to, so it's just
Yeah, sorry. I'll revise that. So it telepathically says, "Are we done?"
We have the means of keeping an eye on him,
Mhm.
seeing if he is sincere. Yes.
Great.
We shall hope that satisfies the other two.
And we'll see.
My concern is that Cloak is the only one who could keep an eye on him, and I don't know if he has the desire to.
you would possibly do it if asked.
Yeah. He doesn't care, right? Like scrying on someone doesn't seem problematic to him. It's like, you want to see what he was doing? Fine. I'm going to do some other things, you know? Remember, he's probably going to be navigating the astral realms a lot, right? So
Right.
if you ask him to do something while he's doing that, that's not going to cause him a problem. He's happy to help. So, yeah, and just to reinforce, Legba's not opposed to anybody choosing what they're going to do. It's the collective participation that was his issue.
Right. Sure.
You know, so I'm saying this would be something that he would have to choose to help with.
Oh,
Like, you
I'm
would
saying.
be putting yourself involved in a thing that you might not want to do. So,
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. And I'm just clarifying that if you want to look at what he's doing, right, that doesn't feel the same way as like
Right.
choosing his fate, right? If you want to see what he's up to, Leg was totally happy to facilitate that for you because he's helping you, right? He's not going to think of it as doing something to that guy. It's if you're evaluating him and then choosing what you're going to do in response, that's something different than if you were like, Legba, let's see what he's doing. All right, Legba, I want you to teleport his brain out of his head, right? You know, it feel different to him, right? Yeah. So he's
I can't even do that.
yeah, I know he doesn't have
not
life.
yet.
But yeah, so yeah, we can keep tabs whenever you want. We're good.
Open the gateway back to. Actually, that's true. Where do you open the gateway to?
Well, yeah, how would I do that? So this is a good brief moment for you and I to touch base on the functionalist attainment in this regard, right? Because the notion was I need to be in the temenotic representation or the astral representation of a place, and I can open a portal between where I am and where that is. So I'm in the temenotic representation of the camp still in the astral form. So if I open a portal, it's going to be to the camp. Yeah.
So you'd have
So-
to actually cast it.
Or walk.
Exactly,
Get
if I
a
wanted to
paradox.
immediately.
Or
Or
walk.
walk. Yeah. And so I think that's what I'd do. And then I'd have Legba move towards Purgatory Bluff.
Okay.
So in the astral realms, Legba's going to walk there.
It's just
But oh, wait, I can't do that
I'm
while
all
I'm
about-
walking.
I'm all about confidently walking out of this camp.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to
Just
do.
the two of us.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
So yeah,
Let's
two of you stride away, and there's definitely like some guns that get drawn up and pointed, and like you can hear Eduardo say like, "We can just shoot them and take their thing, take it back. There's only two of them."
You're welcome to try.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like at this point, like
No,
the dis-
let him argue for you. I think that might carry
Yeah.
on. Right?
That's
Well,
right.
No, don't do that.
well, and Salazar, you know, is pretty straightforward, and it's like they know some things. Possibly, well, I think he says maybe as much as I do. So we will be careful now, but we will learn more. It's like that's probably more of a like, especially because the storm's still happening. It's the side by side comic panel of, you know, Petrichor and Legba badass walking out of the camp while everybody's watching, and then Eduardo leaning over, very, you know, sidekick to the villain moment. And then, yeah, it doesn't take long for you guys to, you know, get clear of the camp. And yeah, Legba moving to Purgatory Bluff in the Temenos is real, you know, like long step, because you were in the wilderness around it. So,
Mhm.
but you guys go pick
Cool.
up.
Yeah. So So Legba is prepared to move there, right? And then walks to camp. And then once we're all there, we can touch base and make sure that we want to teleport back.
Sure.
Because we have horses and stuff, so.
Oh, also true. Yeah.
Can they get through the portal?
You gotta duck their head, maybe, but.
All right. So yeah.
You guys get back to the camp.
Do we want to handle that in character? Or we just go back to.
Yeah. If everybody's good to go, just back to Purgatory Bluff.
Cool. All right. Fantastic.
Cool.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yep. So you have a little
Cool.
break
All right,
time. Also, we missed one. Happy New Year. Bwee! Okay. For, 30 minutes ago.
You did.
Yep.
You did.
You cut out for the Happy New Year.
Oh, I said bwee.
Is that for anybody?
Somebody.
Greenland? Iceland?
Middle of the
There's-
ocean. There's islands.
Yeah.
Is that for anybody? Is there anybody in the world?
He was having New Year's right now.
Yeah. There's somewhere. Now, on the stream? Probably not.
I didn't mean it like that.
I know.
It was more like wondering aloud
What
what
time
time
zone
zone
is
that
that?
was.
I
where that
know.
would
I'm
be.
just teasing.
Pretty much no, it's not the same as no one.
my word.
Twitch guys, time to get up, walk around, refill your drinks, pet your dogs who are probably having a time right now.
Yeah, she's been screaming for like an hour and a half straight.
Ash, I'm so proud of you. Oh, yeah, my dog is in there and I haven't heard her yet. So, and yes, for those of you who are taking a break, bye-bye. Happy New Year. Yeah. You two guys will be right back. Don't blink. Here is a question. Where in Purgatory Bluff does the co-locate portal appear? Because while obviously not concerned about... Oh, or actually, you guys ride back. Because you do have the two horses.
Isabel would probably want to ride back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
That's fine. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because I had thought about it. I was like, oh, wait, yeah. You do have the horses.
If we just walk back there, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys roll into town, which is still quite a buzz, with the storm dissipating, and they are on the edge of it. But yeah, the four of you, actually, probably not the four of you, ride back into town, because Petrichor, nope, well, yes, Sheriff Petrichor and Legba obviously left out and talked to the lookouts, but Theo and Gisela need to sneak back in. Less actually sneaking and more just, we'll go cross the river or go down to the bridge and just cross. And I mean, at this point, everybody's kind of shut in. And Theo, I think you had actually said, hey, I'm going to go check out what's going on and report back while the farmers are setting up their own little militia firing line stuff. So yeah, the cabal, the coven, splits in half, and everybody kind of goes in different directions. We'll start up with Theo because Chris is eating. And you actually, I guess, Gisela, you don't necessarily even need to go out to the farms. You just kind of like dismount and make your way back home. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So, Theo, you were greeted with not necessarily like some military-esque, call and respond kind of thing, but definitely oh, Madam Stokes, do we have word? And like, there's the one farmer, I can't remember who it was, who is like all fire and gumption about like, we're going to defend our farm. There's a couple farmers who at this point now are like, we're sitting out in a drizzle. Nobody's necessarily coming. Like, you can definitely see you've lost some men, as some people have kind of made their way back to their farms.
The immediate danger has passed, but we should all stay vigilant for the next few days.
All right. Y'all heard
sure.
the lady. Return back to your homes. We'll figure out some kind of patrol or something. It's like everyone's
Sheriff, and just to throw the Sheriff Isabel had a confrontation with their leader and convinced him that it was a bad idea to stick around.
So let's step back just a little bit. Is that the story that you guys are going with? Because you guys had a time to discuss this. So is that what Isabel is leaning on, or I don't care what Theo actually
It'd be fun
says.
if she got surprised by that. I think they would have spent more time discussing Salazar than actually what do we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can see that totally being like getting like literally Theo and
Well, because Theo has gone
sorry.
down to the bridge.
Sorry, yes, I could see Isabel and Cloak getting back into town, and then her going, "Shit, I gotta tell a story."
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm good at this. I'm good at this.
And that's kind of just what Theo is doing,
what
like,
I
making something
do.
believable.
Mm.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
yeah, I think that's
That's fine. Yeah, if you guys, oh no, we talked about Salazar and what to do, and yeah, I like that. So yeah, you heard the woman. Sheriff Isabel's got this under control. Keep your ear out. We're gonna work out a patrol, or we're gonna keep watch, or like looking over at one of the
Tell them not
taller.
to leave town.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's definitely kind of established. And one of them looking up at one of the bigger silos. So yeah, maybe we put a couple of the boys up there, just sit up on the silos and watch. So they start to disperse, and Theo, I imagine, heads home to, wife and daughter, and who are like, oh my god, you are drenched. Get inside, sit down, like stoking up the fire.
Am I drenched?
No, you had lodestone
Yeah, I had
That's true.
lodestone.
You had lodestone. Yeah.
on all of us and the horse, actually.
Yeah. which does bring me to in the as you get closer to town, do you leave that up?
Oh, we need to be wet.
I don't know that Theo would. Well, I guess because you're maintaining spell control, so you're aware of it. It's not like you can forget you've got a spell control up.
Right.
Yeah, she'll drop it down like a couple minutes before.
Yeah, it'd be more of would you think to realize that, oh right, we've been out riding in the rain, we should be wet.
Yeah. And
I imagine
and the only
splashing
reason-
and everything.
yeah, the only reason Theo would be aware of that was because of the spell control. Otherwise, her mind is occupied with other things. But yeah,
Yep.
she'll bring it down a couple minutes before she gets.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, soaked, but not quite miserable. Haven't been cold and wet this entire time. So yeah, Catherine gets you, into the house, out of those wet clothes. Here's a towel. Sit in front of the fire. Here's some dry clothes. And so what happened? Because you've been gone, and that was a lot longer than go up to town and come back.
Yeah, things kind of developed, and Sheriff Isabel went out and had a chat with their leader and convinced him that this is not a good territory to hang around in. It should be okay, but we should keep our eyes open for the next few days at least.
Okay. So everybody's okay. Nobody's hurt. Sheriff Isabel
No.
and okay.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Okay. So we dodged a bullet for real then. Like,
Yeah, more Sheriff Isabel slapped it out of the way, but yeah,
okay. Okay.
those were some bad folks.
Oh, so we dodged a cannonball?
They have particular views about people who were born here
Can't we
and
just
whether they had a right to live or not.
can we just get along? There's so much space here. And I mean, that's a whole thing, but okay. Well, soup is in the kettle. And I realize she probably doesn't actually have anything else she needs to do because it's raining outside. Who wants to work in the rain? So yeah, like,
You're breaking up.
Yeah,
No.
your microphone's cutting out.
what are you doing, Mike? Not you, Mike. But
All 7 Michaels. Andrew's
God,
Michael.
yes. So yeah, I just realized she's not going to go work out in the rain. Why? At this point, any livestock that you guys have are undercover or whatever. So, yeah. So
It's
sits
gotta
down
be
with
pretty
you.
late at this point too, right? It's got to be pretty late at this point too, right?
Yeah, we're definitely getting late. Yep. So she, kind of settles in, has soup with you. You guys talk with Valosia, play with her. Jumping back up to town.
Oh, do we have still a hotel up? Yeah.
Does it have a ring?
Well, I can talk to people whenever I want. I just have to
Yes, I was
spend
going to say
mana.
that's
Yeah, it's a one way though, right?
it is.
Yeah, it's a one-way
person
thing.
to person.
If you would have liked for us to have connected telepathy on the way back so that we could discuss things and avoid some of the problems of noise, like when we go separate distances, I don't think that'd be an issue. Like, we would probably consent to that, considering there might be some things. we need to
No, Theo
figure
wouldn't
out.
have thought to ask about it, but if it was still up, I was going to let Isabel know the story I was spreading. But
Oh, okay, gotcha. Cool.
it's cool to unfold however it ends up unfolding.
All right.
Cool. So yeah, we pick up with Isabel and Legba. Well, at this point, Cloak, coming into town, and yeah, here it's much more busy. Warner Enright is standing under an umbrella, actually walking under an umbrella, kind of back and forth, talking with some of his men, some of the lookouts who have come back in. There's a hastily put up, like, kind of awning, kind of ramshackle on top of the inn, and there's a couple guys up there with eyepieces and stuff, and it's a little wet, it's a little dry. There's a spot that they can stand in. They only get it when it blows under, and yeah, there's shouts that oh, there's a rider. Just yeah, I think that's Isabel. So you guys are announced a little bit as you come in, and
Sure.
Warner kind of steps up front and very, he's the general in the rear getting the report from his captain. Goes, oh, so how did it? Are they coming? Like, because I imagine you guys have come in at a walk, not like a full gallop of oh god, the redcoats are coming.
Just a nice little trot. Not moseying, certainly. Let's talk inside. I think everything's gonna be just fine. Why don't we have all the boys come down off the roofs and everything before somebody falls and breaks their neck?
Okay. Yeah, and quick, messages run through, and at this point, like, the only people who are out are the people who have, some reason to be. But Warner takes you over to the tavern, because where else are you guys going to meet? Which has got Madame Robert's going to make some money tonight, because like every man in town is in there with a gun. They're sitting and nobody's drinking. Well, okay, there's a couple drinks, but for the most part, they're sitting kind of on edge, a little bit of rocking movement and stuff like that. But as you show up, I mean, Warner too, but when you show up, everybody kind of relaxes a little bit because you don't look like you're pissed off or like concerned. So. Quick check for Cloak. Cloak is going with or heads up to the miners.
Check in with Isabel.
Okay.
Would you like me to attend you?
Yeah, come on in.
So yeah, you all, the two of you step in with Warner holding the door open, and then steps in and shakes his cloak off and okay, so. And then he kind of looks to you and then quickly realizes, I'm supposed to be in charge here, and kind of turns, all right, everybody, sounds like everything is okay for the time being. So why don't everybody head home, listen for the church bells. If we need to get everybody together again, if nothing else, we got a kind of militia, right? Like, and there's some like awkward clapping, like, why are we clapping about this? But okay. And slowly people start to leave out. There's
Isabel like just slips in a like, I wanted to thank you all for your perseverance and willingness to stand up for our town today. I'm glad that violence was not needed, but it is appreciated that you all are ready to defend our home.
that gets, not as much clapping, but a little bit more like, oh, okay, hey, we're actually, yeah, okay, thank you. And there's, people heading back home to, dinner at home. There's a couple guys who are, still sitting. I'm like, I'm already here. I'm just going to get another drink, and you and Warner and Cloak take to the corners, the corner table, and sit down. And Warner kind of leans in and goes, "Okay, is everything really okay?"
It should be.
Okay, so what'd you see? I know a bunch of the lookouts said that you sent them back in and said the two of you were gonna look into what was going on.
We rode out and saw that the storm had nearly upended their camp. And in that distraction, I forget what Isabel calls you here at this point.
Say that again?
I said I forget which of the 17 names she would calls Cloak in this sort of setting at this point.
Yeah.
She called him John Paul here.
Yeah, I think. Okay. That John Paul and I made our way into the camp.
Oh. Do you have a David in Saul's camp kind of moment? Do you have a piece of his cloak?
In a way.
Oh. Like he's making a joke and all of a sudden, oh no.
Really?
We made him to understand that, oh, poor Layla. Poor Ash. Made him to understand that if banditry and wanton destruction are their purposes, this is not an area in which it will be tolerated, nor made easy to happen to us.
Yeah, easier picking somewhere else. Go bother someone else. The fort's right up the way. That's the least that they want to. I mean,
there are certainly a good number of reasons why they would not want anything to do with us.
Good. Oh, worried about our people here. I know that the mine, the silver, it's got to be a target. So
you did well today, sir. Led the people with strength and grace befitting your standing.
Appreciate that. Kind of just. But I definitely saw who went out while I stayed here. So I appreciate that. Kind of looks at Jean Paul and kind of nods and says, not 100% sure about your past. before you came here, what things you may have been involved in, but you lead a bunch of people and are willing to go out into the storm. Besides everything I've seen from you before today, I think that's a noble thing.
Remade
Thank you.
We are remade anew by our choices and our actions.
Cloak looks at Isabel meaningfully when she says that. And then he turns back to Warner and says, I believe that everyone in life deserves an opportunity to redeem themselves of past wrongdoings. And that we can somehow feel hindered by the choices we've made before, even though they don't intrinsically limit the choices we can make now and in the future. So I hope that you hold that sentiment for everyone here. And you encourage people to realize that even if they have adopted a certain identity or persona, it is not something they have to stick to.
He kind of leans back and kind of shrugs and says, it's the frontier. People come out here to reinvent themselves all the time. I did it. I'm not going to judge somebody else, especially in this town. I don't care who you were before. As long as you don't make a fuss here, don't hurt anybody here, we can all get along. Everybody pulls their own weight. Chris is going to be inundated with barks next.
No, he's going to go to sleep.
But and then like as conversation kind of dies down, Warner says, well, at least let me buy you 2 dinner before you head back up to the mines, and I guess before you retire upstairs, and kind of walks over and talks to Arcelia and makes sure that you guys are fed and have something to drink. Though I know Legba will probably end up getting water. And then, he makes his way out. There's some conversation that kind of continues, especially as Warner leaves, because it's definitely the teacher is in the room kind of vibes in the tavern.
Yeah.
Because generally speaking, within the town, almost everybody works for Warner in some capacity. But yeah, as soon as he leaves, then okay, we can get a little bit louder, we can cheer a little bit more. All the farmers, of course, are back in town anyways, so back in the farms. So and hopefully we can do this. Ash, as Gisela is heading back to her house, because you snuck out, if I remember correctly.
No, I took the gun and went to go stand on the walls and defend.
Oh, right. Yeah, Mom wasn't happy about it, but was like, okay, fine. Yeah. So as you're heading back with the rifle, there's a straight up from a dark alley near your house. There's a psst, psst. There's a hooded and cloaked figure there.
I'm not going at this alley. I'm gonna stand outside it and just you coming?
Yeah, it's a hooded, cloaked figure, steps a little bit closer, and you realize, this is a little bit short stature, and cloak comes back a little bit, kind of glares up at the rain. You recognize Egrock, who's like, okay, finally, one of you by yourselves.
What's up?
What caused the storm? What happened?
I don't know about this storm.
She kind of gives you a look.
We were dealing with bandits, I guess is what we can call them. Roving ritual sacrificing murderers.
Oh, that's a bit different.
Yeah, they've given up their implements and sworn to be nice. And we're going to keep an eye on them and make sure they stick to that.
Let's see. Okay. Well, I won't keep you out in this rain. This is terrible. Go inside, warm up, and I guess I'll come see you. Rilla's going to be busy. You didn't, though you may check in on her. She's been a little bit frazzled.
Gotta reach out.
And so pulls her cloak back and like gives you a little like it's a very like maternal pat on the shoulder and then like shuffles off into the rain.
Okay, I'm just going to go on home because I'm not about to sell Isabel out.
Yep.
It's appreciated.
I'm sure she will have more questions later, but for right now.
For Cloak and Isabel, guys have dinner. Anything else either that gets discussed or you head out to do?
Oh, this is what Cloak says. They're eating, and he initiates a telepathic conversation with Isabel because of the nature of what he wants to discuss. He says, I'm grateful that you understood my point back there in our interactions with Salazar. Because I think that we all have different goals and different paths we're trying to walk in the course of working our will. So it's probably a good idea. Sorry, go ahead.
We are each very different people.
Indeed. Different responsibilities we are assuming through our names and our choices. And so there might come a point where we'll need to be even more explicit with the things that we're willing to participate in, besides just protecting the town and helping each other acquire more understanding.
I would agree.
And I think we'll all be looking to you for leadership and support in that regard.
Says the person who a couple hours ago had a major magical mental block.
She's better now.
As long as we are focused on aiding each other, aiding the town. Wait, is that a pen? I thought it was a sticker.
I have stickers and a pen.
Wow.
It's
Sorry.
signed.
I saw a shiny. As long as we are focused on aiding each other and aiding the town, and capable of talking out our plans, then all shall remain well in our coven.
I agree.
But a clause or a way for someone to act independently from the cabal, should their plans require that, is perhaps something to discuss. if I or you or Babasera or Arachne or Rilla have something that they are set upon doing, but that the others still wish that they would not. I am of the opinion that we were all given free will by the Lord above for a reason. So we shall coach each other, but we shall not lay mandates or forbiddances. Do you think that fair?
I do. I would also like to now talk about something else. I'd like to talk about the looming pit in Euroneros.
Can you loom with a pit?
Oh,
Like,
I
if
guess
you,
they're not
like-
looming. Yeah, it's not
It's on
looming.
the
That's
top
right.
of a hill, isn't it?
It's pretty ominous.
I mean, it's in the
It was a
middle.
well.
I meant
Yeah.
it figuratively, but it's not a useful metaphor, so I will
It
choose
is,
a different
it is
qualifier.
looming over Euroneros.
It's okay. It's all right. I
talk
personified
about
the
the
pit,
elephant
and I
in the
didn't
well.
mean to do that. So.
The elephant.
The elephant in the
It's
well.
all right.
So we've gone on for like 2 minutes ragging Ralph
Gaping
over
is
his
what I
choice
meant.
of words.
And that's okay. I'm happy to revise my speech.
Meh.
What?
What Cloak says is, in the same way that we are entitled to act according to our own moral inclinations, what we think is right, we are also responsible to each other. We've made oaths to each other. We've made commitments to each other. And avoiding certain lingering challenges and gaps in understanding can produce problems we don't anticipate. Imagine if your catatonia had happened when we were all trying to defend a town directly. Maybe when Theo and Gisela were injured and their bodies were bloodied and bruised on the ground, and it were just the two of us. And you fell into that state. I doubt you'd be happy about that. I bet the one who would feel the worst about that would be you. And so what I mean is, I want us to explore these things. I want us all to feel that it is our responsibility to invite the assistance of the rest of us in this coven to help us grow in understanding of ourselves. And I would specifically like you to be more open to exploring Euroneros, because I understand your preferences. I really do. We all prefer different aspects of the world and different aspects of engaging with how we work our will. It's just you have seemed resistant to those aspects that Theo and I are more inclined to. And in this particular circumstance, I think it did you a disservice.
If I feel myself capable of it, I will begin to give your advice credence.
Thank you.
I also appreciate this conversation is happening in silence between the two of them. Meanwhile, you have like drinking songs starting up behind you guys.
Yeah, we're like eating food, looking at each other.
We're just like still like warming up and they're like watching.
Yeah,
like
that's right, exactly.
But yeah, like out of character for a second. And like this summation can happen in character, I guess, but more or less, Isabel at some point would be willing to look at her Neros, but would not wish to be compelled to investigate the actual real world happening or whatever it is, if it's still there or whatever.
That makes sense.
She has no wish to return currently.
Yeah, and just provide you with support for that. Cloak doesn't assume. He stated that in the moment because he was feeling quite... Yeah, in the moment once we had come out, he was feeling quite alarmed about this. And he was like, you have to go back there. He was worried about you. He was also worried about what it might mean.
Plus, it's like, damn, that's a good-ass mystery.
Yes, exactly. I got to go after this, right? Like, he had just acquired that new obsession of helping people resolve gaps in understanding. And then after a few hours of walking out, you know, he's come back to his senses and he's like, all right, well, there are many gaps in understanding. And you understanding that particular pit or well is also helpful. So he's now like, okay, there are all kinds of ways in which you can resolve this in your mind without necessarily going to the physical location. And so if you don't want to do that, that's totally cool. He's really just was happy. He is happy to receive that assent to participate in an exploration of the areas of yourself that you've been resistant to explore before.
Right. I dig it.
Cool. We're on the same page.
Like it. After besides the conversation, do you guys have any other plans for the night?
Yeah, Cloak's gonna go back to the mine.
Okay.
And touch base with everybody.
Cool.
Because, you know, people have been... I imagine some people, other than the Les Enfants and the miners, have been in the mine. Mm-hmm. So he just wants to, you know, let everybody know things are okay.
Yeah, some folks... Isabel is headed to bed. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I mean, probably...
Hang around a bit and stuff, yeah.
Probably is Isabel for a little bit.
Oh, that's fair. Like, shed petrichor for a little while. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, Cloak finds, you know, the miners in their barracks. Some who are kind of patrolling and look around and just kind of checking in on stuff. But for the most part, everything there seems... Actually, at this point, you guys have eaten. You probably come out of the tavern to see the last of some of the people who were hiding in the mines coming out. And finally making their way, because they're like, okay, the rain really is not going to let up tonight. I'm just going to, you know, screw it, make my way through the rain, you know, or in some cases, some of the fathers have come up, found their families and, you know, taking them back home and stuff like that. Your cult, not a cult to you, but your cult, the children of the broken chains, still metal as fuck, are hanging out. And at this point, you know, feeling good about themselves. There is a definite mood of, not relaxation, but relief, tensions coming back and stuff like that, as almost every single one of the children are like armed with pickaxes, shovels, you know, something at hand. There's a couple guys carrying like big support beams that it's like, is that the best weapon? Probably not, but it's got some reach on it. But basically just to have something at hand. And there are some who are like back in the meditation room who are like, okay, they're clearly back on like, you know, they're going to be on watch and just, we don't know how long this is going to take. But at this point have specifically, the sisters are starting to get everybody up. All right, we can get back to the barracks, and are basically trying to do some cleanup, make sure, like, we're going to do a scout of the entire mine to make sure that we don't have a random child who is, disappeared, some way or anything like that. But it's definitely like everybody's coming down from DEFCON 1. We're okay. Everything's all right. Warner had, some sharpshooter, troubleshooter. That's the one, kind of bring everything down. But hang on, I can do this without looking up a name. Nope, can't remember. Who is our new leader of the cult?
Sanite.
Sanite, damn it. Yep. I was like, Messi J, Sanite, Messi J. Okay, so comes over to you and puts a very familiar hand across the shoulder and like has a proud mom moment and basically says, they did good. We did very good. Things got organized. We had everybody inside. We played some games with some of the littler children because like some of the like school age kids were in the school. Some of them. But we played, we talked. We may have used a little bit extra candle and oil. Excuse me. It's all oil, I think. Anyways, so we may need to talk to Warner about getting some more just to not have any problems, but we did well. And then kind of looks at you. How did it go?
It went well. I think we don't have to worry about those people with regard to the safety of the town for now.
But beyond the town?
There's the potential for others we might have to worry about. The town will be safe for various reasons. The Lua protect us.
They do. And they protect us. We protect the town.
Yes.
I'm actually starting to like it here.
Glad to hear you say that. The more you think of it as your home, the more robust it will be for everyone. Because as this place grows, we should remember that we, and he's motioning to les enfants, right? We were, before the town started to really grow, the largest component of it. At least half.
I might argue some numbers there, but we were the biggest faction. All
that matters.
Together. They can't
People
even
will
agree on
see
what
it.
church to go to. Same faith.
That's right. It's how they will see it and how they will think of it. The numbers actually don't matter. It's how people will remember it.
That's true.
That they were divided. They were independent frontiers people. And then all of a sudden, half of the town became Maroons.
That's true. That's true.
And half of the town contributed to the wealth and development of the town by extracting its silver.
Have you told her that the mine may run out?
Not yet.
We really need to get on this.
Yeah, that's a decision we have to make, right? We haven't made a
got,
decision in the Cabal.
4 months, right?
Yeah, we haven't decided if we're going to get somebody to continue the silver or we're going to do something else. So,
But
yeah, what he does, the last thing he says is, I've mentioned my responsibilities to and association with Legba to you before. and I feel it even more strongly. There may come a time where you and I can only interact through that.
Don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to think on that.
And it might be the case in that time that you and I only know each other through Guinea.
Kind of gives you a look, trying to understand, and decides that it's a thing to think on before,
Mhm.
but says, I will miss you at my side, but if I have you in my head, in my thoughts, it'll do.
We'll see what it is when it comes there. But for now, and for always, we are family.
That we are.
And Cloak embraces her.
You smell like horse. And kind of brushes the duster off a little bit and says, all right, I am going to clean up while there's still some rain, and then I am going to sleep.
I will do the same soon.
Unless there's something that needs to be done tonight, I plan to have mercy on Ash and call it quits now. And also because I have nothing prepped further.
There is something Cloak wanted to do.
Been quiet for just a few minutes.
Enjoy it. Go ahead.
That makes sense. I think mercy on Ash makes complete sense. I'm totally okay with that. So then I'll mention what Cloak wanted to do in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can decide if that's something you want to handle as a plot point next session, or if you wanted to do it quickly right now, narratively. Sure. So what Cloak wants to do is, after he's talked to everybody, he wants to go and talk to the prisoners we freed that, are members of various towns, and they haven't decided where they want to go, but they said they wanted to go home.
Mm-hmm.
And before everyone goes to bed, he wanted to reassure them that everything's okay, that those people aren't coming after them.
Oh, okay.
And then he wanted to say that he wants to return them to their homes in the morning.
I love it, and it's a perfect way to end this, as they're because they're in the tavern, and they have a laugh, and pass you a drink, and say, "Oh, have another." We'd love to see you do that. They're because at this point they've been free. They've had more than a couple free drinks, and especially mentioning that, no, we've turned them away. They're like, all right, cool. Like, this is a new town. This is where we live now. And the idea of, oh yeah, we're just going to send you home. They're like, okay, yeah. All right. Thanks. Yeah. Tease us. All right. Sure. Whatever. But I think that's perfect.
But no, really.
It's like, no, really. And I think that's a perfect way to end it, because next week, all right, where are you from? All right, give me a minute. All right, kick. Where are you from? All right, give me a minute. A bunch of these people are going to have some weird stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Weren't you with the army? Yeah, long story. Get a drink. I got to tell you what happened.
Home now. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
that's true. For a lot of them.
People are going to be really relieved.
Mm-hmm. But thank you all for joining us. That is where we will pause. Yeah, it's a little 30 minutes early. Whatever. You'll all survive.
It just started again.
So,
Poor girl.
as always, thank you for joining us. If you want to come hang out, I highly suggest it. Come by www.eatinto.space. That's the URL. Drop it in there. That'll take you to our Discord. Highly suggest hanging out. You do not need to be caught up. We have all sorts of stuff to discuss besides this show. Actually, I'll be honest. Most of the discussion that happens in our Discord is not about the show at all.
Quite true.
And I love it. Don't ever change.
Talk about anything.
Quite a lot. It is a nice, safe, inclusive place. And in case you hadn't noticed it, we're kind of big mama bears about that. As long as you want to feel safe and cozy in a place where you can express yourself politely but freely, it's a good place. Emphasis on the inclusive. If you want to come up and start some shit, I will happily kick you out. If you want to support us monetarily, not at all necessary, but if you do, patreon.com/Occultists Anonymous or staylucky.club. And you can support us there. Money goes towards buying upgrades, buying art, and things of that kind of financial nature that just normal home games you wouldn't necessarily be able to do. Unless, of course, you're Ash and you buy character commissions for every single character you make. I think Craig does that too. Buying character commissions. Character art, yeah.
I just come across a lot of really good artists on Tumblr. They're just like, hi, you got like $50? I'll give you a sketch. It's like, yes.
Which also reminds me, please pay your artists. If your artist says, here's this for free, you pay the artist. If it's
you tip them.
If it's a friend and they're like, here, have this, Merry Christmas, you go, cool, this is how much this is worth to me, or what I can pay you. Do it that way.
I mean, if it's legitimately a gift.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
true. Yeah.
But if they're offering
no
art
gifts,
for
you
way
must
too
pay.
cheap, tip them well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let them know.
Yep. Let them know that you think it is worth money to them, to you. Anyways, and we will be back next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I was thinking, what happens next week? No, next week. So, yeah. See you all next year.
See you next year.